I'm here at Finch West, and I'm going to take line 6. So line 6 is, you can argue whether it's the newest of the two lines. Technically, line 6 was faster to build than line 5, so, but it opened first. So how do you figure that? So, well, as far as I'm concerned, line 6 is newer. Let's take a ride on it. You can still see they have signage up for the launch of line 6, more than they've done for line 5 currently, but that's okay. Line 5, they were considering it a bit of a soft launch, but line 6 is fully open. So the rolling stock on line 6 is also probably our first time having non-Bombardier stock. Now, Bombardier's train division and rolling stock division was bought out by Alstom. And you can see the trains are quite open. So one train, not the two train stack that you get on line 5. The rolling stock is definitely newer, that's for sure. And one thing that really stands out for me is when the doors open, they're not beeping like line 5 does. Line 6 is a 10.3 kilometer or 6.4 mile light rail line that uses standard gauge or 1,435 millimeter track rather than Toronto gauge like lines 1 and 2 and the streetcar network in Toronto, which is 1,495 millimeters in width, 60 millimeters wider than standard gauge. The line was originally proposed in 2007, running from Finch Station in the east to Humber College, but in 2009, it was proposed to run from Don Mills to Humber College, but budget cuts in 2010 meant only building from Finch West to Humber College. Construction started in 2019, and it opened in December 2025. Not bad for a construction project in Toronto. Alstom was chosen to build 18 light rail vehicles after concerns about Bombardier being able to deliver. These are similar vehicles to what you would find on Ottawa's O-Train Confederation line. The biggest concern has been signal priority, since the line is above ground, other than the two terminus stations. The line is slow and has led people, including me, to say it feels more like a streetcar on a dedicated guideway. And we've made it to Humber College. In many respects, it does feel like it's just a faster streetcar at this point. However, in the future, I am pretty sure it's going to be a lot faster. And you know what? It does serve a really important community in this particular area of North Etobicoke. So you've got a number of businesses, you've got a number of, high population density for sure. And I think it is a super important service for the north of Toronto. One of the things that is interesting about line 6, certainly in the two stations, are I'm not seeing the security systems that line 5 has. So if someone traverses onto the rails, it's not going to stop trains. Interesting. Students don't know how good they've got it. My only other complaint about the trains is the fact that, it's winter, it's frigid cold, and the doors are all open. So they could let people just use the buttons to open the door and then close them after a few seconds or maybe a minute to keep the train nice and warm. Welcome to Canada. And that's our trip on line 6. I think it's a good line, lots of potential. It's gonna help a whole bunch of people get moving in the city, and lots of great food. If you're looking for anything essentially Caribbean, East Indian, Pakistani, etc., definitely worth the trip on line 6.